quiet. Come on, wake on up.
I gotta eat. I gotta eat since he ain't on.
I'm just
I'm gonna
saying.
take.
Hey,
Wake
hey,
on
I'm
up.
gonna take eat spot and eat.
We live. Get
Keep
your
your
okay,
head
my bad.
up, my boy. Come on, man.
All right, so we are live, fellas. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. We have a great episode, some great topics for you tonight. Let me introduce myself. My name is Brandon, also known as Swift. And tonight, for right now, at the barbershop, we was drinking on 1738. We finished the whole bottle. So shout out to Killer Page Houston. Follow him on Instagram. So I'm drinking on Remy. I'm gonna finish this bottle tonight.
What up? This your boy Crowley, aka IBB a King. Definitely want to give it a shot of tequila tonight. And then I'm gonna be on the Uncle Nears, but tequila for National Tequila Day. Let's already go. I already have a couple of shots. Forget it stuff.
It's your boy CJB here, Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Edwards, Mississippi, for National Tequila Day. I'm on this Dan Julio Reposada tonight, and ready to get it cracked.
Shout out to you. Cheers, my brother.
In honor of my boy
Get my
Eden.
shot glass.
In honor of my boy Eden, I'm eating the French fry. He ain't on with us
You
tonight.
need that Burger King hat. You need that Burger King hat he always wear.
And I've gone on 3 shots already, but I'm gonna go a little bit old school tonight. I've been seeing a lot of positivity coming from E&J, so I'm gonna mess with that tonight. I got the big bottle of E&J XO. I ain't never had it before. I ain't had E&J in like 10 years, so I'm gonna see what it's talking about.
College days, son.
Back in the day, E&J.
Back in the day.
Come on.
They've been doing a lot of stuff, man. They've been giving a lot of money to black efforts, so just wanted to support them with a bottle.
You know how many of us have drunk E&J? So
Hey, this your boy Rob, Country Boy Rob, coming to you from Tampa, Florida. Drinking on my Jim Beam and sweet tea. Let's get it cracking.
All right. It's Stoke out in San Diego, having a little well of 12 for the night.
Shout out to Frank. My boy said it. Remy, it don't get no better. Absolutely.
and then look, I see you got on that Eases Jesus, but you know we used to call it that Irkin jerk too, baby.
Irkin jerk.
I know, right? And before we start, let me shout out my boy Huey. Got on my Huey P. Newton shirt. Absolutely. Shout out to the crack.
Not to be confused with Huey P. Long.
Take his Wi-Fi away right now.
Hey, mute him right now.
Let's go and get this thing kicked off. Go on, because I know we got some different opinions on this first topic. It's about to get ugly. So, fellas, I know we got some people dating, some people single, some people getting ready to get married. I want to know y'all opinion on this. Absolutely. So we have, different personality types, different raisings, different ways we handle money. Some people spend money a lot. Some people save money a lot. We have different bills, different responsibilities. Some people have kids, so on and so forth. And we don't really, sometimes we may not talk to our partner about, financial issues or how we handle our financial responsibilities. So I want to get y'all opinion on this. How do you feel about having a joint bank account with your spouse, with your partner, either before or during marriage or after marriage, so on and so forth? How do you feel about having that joint bank account and having those joint responsibilities with your partner? How would you handle that? And would you even get a joint bank account, or do you do a joint bank account and a separate bank account? Like, how would you handle those physical responsibilities with your partner? And I feel like Corey want to chime on this one first. I'm gonna say who want to talk about this one first?
Rob look like he's boiling down there. I would say Rob. Rob got that.
All right.
Okay,
Let's go.
I think right now I'm the only married bruh that's on right now, so I'll kick it off.
You and Jay Ward married.
Oh, okay. All right, let's get it. So, so I believe a lot of things should not be done prior to marriage. Some stuff you should, some stuff you shouldn't. Joining money together before marriage, I believe, is a terrible idea, horrible idea. I think that should only be reserved until after you say I do and you all are one. That's one thing that I feel very strongly about. Second thing is, a lot of people are not good with money. Being good with money meaning they don't check the account, they spend unwisely, they spend above their means, and so when you have someone Like for me, myself, I'm in the military. If my account goes in the negative a specific amount of times, I can lose my security clearance.
Oh, wow.
And so you're now starting to mess with my job security when you don't understand how to spend money, what money to spend, when the money's coming in, when the money's going out. So I think this is something that specifically black couples don't talk enough about prior to them getting together and getting married is your spending habits, what you think about money, how you spend, what your future plans are, etc. I do agree that you should have a joint bank account. I also agree that you should have a separate account that each person should have their own separate account. The reason I say that is there are things that are considered house bills and there are things that are considered special project type things. So for me, I have my money split between separate accounts. And so if I want to get my wife something, say for an anniversary or for a birthday, and I want to surprise her, I don't want the money coming out of the bulk joint bank account because she can see the money coming out. And so most people are going to use that for nefarious reasons. I would not suggest doing that, but at the same time, I think having a joint bank account with your spouse, for one, shows you how they spend money, and two, it just shows you a lot about that person themselves. Because I grew up poor, and so I feel a way about not getting poor again.
So let me ask you a question real quick, Rod.
Uh-huh.
You said that having a joint bank account shows you a lot about that person, but you are absolutely against having a joint bank account before marriage. So how do you learn
Yes.
that how do you learn that about that person before marriage? So you
know. So Fee and I, we stayed together about a year before we got married, while we were girlfriend and boyfriend before we got engaged, etc. And so you can just tell by what the person buys how they spend money. You know, if they're just spending all willy nilly, like a lot of bank accounts, when you spend money, the money doesn't automatically come right out just then. You know, there's like a 2 or 3 day lapse depending on the bank. And so a lot of people, they just spend for no reason. You know, Uber Eats, Postmates, you know, going to the mall, going out to eat, drinking, etc. And it's just money on top of money on top of money. And so I think that's something that men and women should pay attention to when you're trying to decide on a mate. When you do decide on a mate and prior to you getting married, you have to pay attention to someone's money management, how they think about money and how they spend money. That is extremely important. And so people don't realize, you see a lot of things on social media that talks about infidelity. Infidelity is not the number one cause of divorce. It's finances.
Mm-hmm.
Finances will destroy a relationship. I'm telling you, it will destroy a relationship. So you have to make sure that you all are at least close to the same sheet of music when it comes to how you spend money.
Got you. Go ahead, Cork. I know you're a financial guy. I know you've been. Go ahead.
Pretty much, man. I agree with everything Rob said as far as you should have a joint account as well as having your own separate accounts because all bills are not the same. However, I feel like money is a topic that's not directly discussed amongst couples. Like you have to be blunt when it's come to discussing money. You gotta be like, look, you know, you gotta reel that shit in because if you're frivolous with money, then I wouldn't recommend getting joint account simply because, you know, the person not responsible, but that'll lead to other issues. So it's like I feel like when you have a joint account, that shit is not easy at all because it's like you're basically combining your income and your assets with one person. So pretty much in regards to if you want to spend something without being answering nobody, you was free to do that. But when you get married, you gotta answer to spending something. Like if I want to buy a pair of shoes, you know, that cost $200, I have to speak on that. Right. So it can be a little challenging. Like it's not easy at all, but I feel like when you have two incomes going in the same pot, your money will go longer. Like you'll be able to pay out some debts, make some investments, you know, put a lot of money towards bills and this, that, and the third. But I think that you should have like those money conversations like while you're engaged so you can know what to expect when you get married. I don't think it's something that you should jump into right off the bat. I feel like that's something you got to ease into because
But
it's
you said,
like,
let me stop you real quick because you said, let me make sure we're clear. You said have those conversations while you're engaged or before engagement.
like it's kind of hard to. I mean, you should be able to, but it's hard speaking on someone's expenses or finances when you're not engaged. It's like you're just dating. You don't have the key to somebody's finances. You shouldn't have, but I feel like once you're engaged, like you made the commitment to get married. So I think all the tough conversations should be had before you say I do.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm gonna go to. I know what Stokes think. And I already know what he gonna say. So I'm gonna go to Jay Ward next, and then Stokes, and then Crow. Let me go to the comments real quick. Devin, did Stokes shave his head for tonight? Okay, I'm not gonna read that.
Hey, California shutting things down again. Devin have to do that.
Right? Hey, it's coronavirus. The barbershops might be shut down. Got to take care of
Right, I
business.
ain't trying to go on them Corona cuts.
Right? Mimi, having a joint account is not for the faint-hearted. Been there, done that, and definitely shows a lot about a person. Absolutely. Kim, joint accounts are joint responsibilities, mortgage, utilities, car payments. And Liddell, joint should be more bills, family stuff, etc. Personal accounts for the none of your business purchases. Paycheck gets the joint with automatic withdrawals going into personal. Pat, make sure a person is not consumed in debt before you marry them, or it's going to cause all the problems I'll talk about.
Yeah.
Woo, Rob, hold on to your thoughts. I'm never gonna come back to that comment. Go ahead, Jay Ward.
I pretty much agree with what everybody's saying. I agree with everybody's saying. I just feel like now it's two different ways to look at it. Going by what a lot of women have said, they want a man to pay all the bills. So why do you need to be on the account if I'm paying all the bills? You don't need to see the account as long as I'm paying the bills. So that's if you going from that situation. But I do feel like, I agree with Rob. I think you should have a joint account that handles the house responsibilities. And then I think you should have separate accounts to do whatever it is that you're going to do out of those things, because you can hold each other accountable if you have a joint account, because you can like, hey, you didn't pay this, this, and this, and this. Also, I know in the household that I grew up in, even though my stepdad made the money, my mom did the actual bill paying. Like, she's the person that issued the money out. So, I think that's a responsibility of who's the most responsible when it comes to that, because everybody's just not equipped to pay a lot of bills. They just don't really spend a lot of time on that. So I think, you have to do what works best for your individual household. But as far as trying to, like Corey was saying, and like Rob was saying, you really should talk about that before you get into a relationship. Because, and I mean, I disagree with Corey. I'm talking about that before we even get engaged, because if I find out you got $300,000 in student loan debt, it's like, damn, I didn't know that was coming. So, now we engaged and I don't want to jump out the engagement because, you'll never pay off your student loans. So I think that it's important to have those conversations. And somebody else I saw in the comments, somebody says, going to counseling for that, beforehand is a really good tool to do too. So I think that that's something that's important as well. And, just want to make sure that, it's hard when you see somebody who has a shopping habit. I'm not going to say who usually has it, because I know a lot of guys that shop a lot and they buy the Jordans and things like that. So, it works both ways. A lot of people spend money. I know people spend a lot of money on alcohol, Stokes. So it just depends on how you want to spend it. But I do think having two separate accounts and a joint account that's responsible for the house bills. And I think also it's important to determine who's going to pay which bills. Like, hey, I'm paying the mortgage, the utilities, and this, and you pay this, and this, and this. So I think you should divvy up who's paying what.
Absolutely. Let me go to the comments real quick. Stokes. First off, hey grandma, please. I'm apologizing now for any language you hear tonight. Let me see anything I want to address in the comments. I don't think so. Oh, Tiffany. I don't want to say the last name. I feel like there should be a joint account for couples that cohabit. However, that account is only for bill payment. Spending account should be separate. I think pretty much we all gonna have consensus on that. Go ahead, Stokes.
Tiffany Kristoff.
Christoph.
For me, I think a little differently about it. Do I think that it's a problem with sharing finances prior to marriage? Absolutely not. If you look at it, they always talk about like don't shack up, don't do X, Y, and Z. Who made the rule that you shouldn't share finances? I don't see that anywhere in the Bible. So just for clarification, when you're pulling in the same direction versus against each other, you can do so much things faster. There's different movements out called FIRE, Financial Independence Retire Early, where you're saving majority of your money. It's much easier to do that when you're working together to tackle the things such as debt. So, for example, I've had a philosophy ever since economics in high school, where it should be multiple accounts, where there's a bulk of your money in the joint account, and then you allow yourself allowances to your side account, where you have 50% or so in the joint account. So it really doesn't matter who makes what. Whether I make 50,000 and she makes 200,000, we paying the same percentage, so we both feel the weight the same. And we take care of all the house stuff, house, date, retirement, everything from the joint account. We don't have any problems. And if she wants to buy a Louis Vuitton and some red bottoms, she just waits till she have her money enough in her side account to do what she want to do. She don't have to ask me anything. It's her slush fund. So I have absolutely no problem with combining accounts because these are conversations you want to have prior to, like Jay Ward said about all the debt. So if my partner isn't business savvy, but I have a little more expertise in it, then that's something she and I can work together on to try to make sure we're on the same page. And practicing, just like we practice everything else, we want to practice living together before we get married. Why don't we practice financial teamwork before we do other things? So I have no problem with it.
All right, Crow, let me get your opinion then. Rob, we're going to get you for a cat comment. And T, I'm at the ready to bring you in too. So, Crow, what you think?
I basically agree with all the gentlemen. My only question would be, would you all be giving your whole full amount of check to that joint account, then pulling out for whatever, like Stokes said, you're allotting 50%, 60%, then pulling out afterwards? Or, who's going to give the bulk? That's the whole thing about those joint accounts. I'm totally,
Direct deposit.
Direct deposit. So you saying that as a couple, just both checks fall in, and then you pull out whatever you're gonna pull out after that.
Well, see, I like Stokes said a percentage, so it's just a percentage.
Yeah, usually with jobs, you can dictate how much money out of your check is going to what account. So you can get like 1,500 to this account, 2,000 to this account, or the rest of your check to another.
No, I'm with you all, but that's what I'm trying to get everybody to see. Like, those are the type of conversations that you need to basically have, like you guys said, like in depth of who's going to cover what, how much of a percentage is going to what account. And then at the same time, you need to know a lot of people don't speak on their vices. They like to hide their vices. And so their vices would be, girl, I bought a pair of shoes without him knowing today. Or I went to the homies and went to happy hour, but I threw it on the credit card. Hopefully she won't notice. So everybody got their vices, and you truly need to be honest, especially if you're diving into marriage, or if you're being serious about somebody and being truly open with that person and being, about those finances. You definitely have to be open about everything you can have going on. And we all forget about vices. We always hollering student loans or this, that, and the other. But a lot of people hide their vices, and that's what drive relationships down. People sneak into casinos, people, doing all those type of things.
Can I ask a question real quick before T goes?
No, Rob going. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So, in these conversations, how soon? So do you? And this is just I'm asking genuinely. How soon do you tell the person that you're dating how much you make? Is that more of an engagement thing, or are y'all saying like you don't give that information until like way down the line, or what?
Way down.
I think it's situational. Like I ain't gonna say way down. I ain't gonna say it wasn't way down the line for me. Like I feel like I can trust Denise with that type of information, so I pretty much let it be known how much I made out rip.
And then to be honest, a lot of us work state jobs and federal jobs, so a lot of our stuff is available out there on the web. So, like I tell anybody, you know, my salary ain't nothing to hide; it's available for the world to see. You know,
Same mine.
so you know, a lot of us are in positions where our salary is for the world to see. So,
Yeah, I think that is more important to discuss early on than actual annual salary. Like I think like student loans. I think most black people in our generation got student loans. That's a given. It's just making sure those student loans are up to date, so they're not impacting your credit score.
Right.
But as far as I think credit card debt and possible repos, like check cash and debt, shit like that, that needs to be discussed
hey,
because they're not. That should need to be discussed because
Corey,
it'll be fucked up.
Here you go.
Huh?
If you really love me, let's pull our credit score together.
So we can go on this topic all night. Let me pause. T, get your comments in. Then Rob, we're gonna let you address it. And I think Stokes had a question too. So T, what you think about this topic?
Oh no, I really ain't got nothing because 50% of zero is zero. I'm broke, man. I ain't got it. So y'all can just have this one. I'm on the next.
I'm gonna take you back out. So,
man, this man got a mansion in Stone Mountain.
Hey, he got look. I was about to say he got mountain views behind him and stuff.
Chill out.
Look at the lights and what else.
Chill out.
So I'm gonna go back to Pat comment. Make sure a person is not consumed in debt before you marry them, or it's going to cause all the problems y'all talking about. Rob, I saw you made a face. What do you think about that?
So I've been married for almost 10 years. I'm really big on finances based on how I grew up, etc. And I want people to realize when you get married, your separate debt becomes joint debt when you all get married. It becomes joint debt. So their debt becomes your debt. I don't think people realize that. So an example of a couple, they got married. The woman brought a whole bunch of debt into the marriage. The man was pretty financially sound, but he doesn't want to help her pay down her debt, not realizing her debt is going to affect him as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that situation can go either way, whether the man's coming in financially sound, the woman's coming in with debt, vice versa. You got to realize when you take on that person in holy matrimony, their debt becomes our debt. And so if you don't want to deal with that, I would suggest backpedaling about as fast as Deion Sanders away from that relationship, because you're going to have to figure out how to help you all get through this debt and pay it off. It's a very difficult process if it's something that you want to deal with. I'm telling you, it can destroy a relationship.
All right, let me go to the comments. I know Stokes said he had a question. Let me go to the comments real quick before you ask your question. Early said some states a spouse can inherit debt. This is basically what Rob was saying. That's actually a serious discussion to have, especially if you are planning to marriage. And like I forgot who said in the beginning of the discussion, debt and finances are the number one cause of divorce. So you absolutely want to have those discussions before you actually propose and get engaged. Brina V, definitely have the conversation before marriage. When you're dating, you get to move freely. Take your time to fill them out before we decide to combine funds. Absolutely. Karen Nicole, where you go? Karen Nicole Davis said, I have a lot of student loans, but I can pay them back. I did not go in. Okay, that's not the comment I was looking for. But I think pretty much everyone agrees. So Stokes, here we go. I feel the percentage theory. If I'm making $150K a year and my husband's making $75K, I definitely wouldn't expect him to go broke trying to live up to societal views on what a man should pay. Karen Davis, let's talk after this because I like that theory. And
look, you see, I got one here.
Put up his 35 to good to go.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this. I'm liking the way you think. So, what's your question?
So, on terms of when I talk about finances, I personally do that early. I know finances, sex, and communication are the three pillars that cause divorce. So I'm hitting all those topics early so we can have an understanding. Mm-hmm. What your money look like, what your STD test look like, how we communicate. I need to know all that early. But in terms of side money or side accounts, I'm all for that. I've thought about that since high school. But the question I have is, let's say my wife, girlfriend, or whoever likes to shop, and she spends her allotment quick, right? While I save mine. Does it matter what I spend my money on? It seems like a lot of women were saying, let me get my side money, and whatever I do with it is my business. So if she decides to buy some shoes and I buy a Tesla, is that a problem?
No, because when like one of the key functions in establishing a successful financial relationship, you have to pay yourself. Like paying a bill is like paying yourself. So it's
Okay.
like once you pay yourself, you're able to do with that money whatever you please.
Yep.
Okay, so quick question
So
for you. Let's, for example, you got the money, right, and your girl's not, saving hers. You want to go on a trip. You got to spend your money to take on a trip.
Joint money.
no, no,
Oh,
because I feel like if we're planning on going on a trip, that's something that we're going to budget for. It ain't gonna be no sporadic, spin. So we're planning on going on a trip in 2 months. We're gonna plan for that trip and we're gonna allocate, our resources toward that trip. It's not going to affect, the money we're paying each other. So you have to think smart about that.
I got you. Some things are sporadic. Though. I'm a college football fan, so if Alabama go to the championship and I got that money side, I'm not waiting for her to get your bread together.
You shouldn't be going
Now
to
that's
Alabama.
now,
No way.
That sound like that's personal right there. That's not
Right?
now it's some stuff like you said is not spirit. Some stuff you have to make a spur of the moment decision. So it's
Right.
like somebody got to take that L. So who's willing to take that L? If she take that L, so you can go to the national championship game, you have
You
to
gotta
take
take
that
it in.
L at a later date.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's about give and take. But
Yep.
one more thing about I think the young lady that spoke on a percentage theory. That's actually what I'm doing now.
Right.
And I
Like I
put
think that percent. Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. As far as like we're gonna talk about shacking at another time. I think that's kind of a outdated thought process. That's something we could think about later. But that's currently what I'm doing, so it works.
that's fair. Any final thoughts on this topic?
I
Hold
do.
on. Come on, Osei. Oh, tap
What you
Osei.
say?
Tap into the OnlyFans account to fund it. Hey, but these women making some money on OnlyFans. I say that.
Yeah, man.
Man,
Yeah, y'all keep it moving, boy. Y'all keep it moving.
I'm just
man,
saying.
a hundred racks in 1 month. Like, damn, bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
they,
we're making it off you fellas somewhere in this world.
they making some bread. Any final thoughts on this topic though before we move on?
Quick question: like, why are we so, as a community, typically so quick to talk about everything else but money? We'll talk
Because
about
we don't have a lot.
Because we ain't never
Because
had
we
enough
don't
of it.
have.
We ain't never had any.
And when we do
It's
have
like,
it, we want to keep it a secret because we don't want nobody asking for it. And then we
yeah.
mismanage it because we're not seeking knowledge on how to invest it properly. Because, like I said, we're afraid to open up to the correct people to let them know that, hey, I've inherited some money or won some money, however it is.
So
However
we're
it is.
going to start what we already know. Then, if we're not going to be open to learn how we can grow money because we're not communicating, we're going as far as what we already know.
And I think that's a topic for another day, another conversation. That's that social construct and how it affects how we behave as Black people, and how it affects us moving forward in life, and being behind other ethnicities. But let's move on. But one comment, Quinn said, "But do y'all want the women on OnlyFans?" That's how we told women.
I don't want no chick who busting it open on social media.
So I'm gonna go to the next topic. It kind of flows into what we just talked about. We talked about finance, having that conversation beforehand about your financials and how it's going to affect the relationship. I think another thing that men really, Black men specifically, really are hesitant about is having that hyphenated last name and understanding the woman's point of view. But I want to get the man's point of view on how they feel about hyphenated last names, because I spoke with a lot of friends, female friends, and I got their reasoning. They say that they have a lot of educational things tied to their name, job opportunities tied to their last name, publications, so on and so forth. And that's one of the main reasons why they hyphenate their last name. They're doing a background check and they say they have a degree in so and so, so and so, and they say your last name. They might not say, "Come on, boy. I'll just give you the background." They say that's one of the main reasons why they hyphenate their last name. And I'm gonna let Stokes go first because I want to bring T in on this too and get his topic. So, how do you feel about women having a hyphenated last name, having your name hyphenated? No, their last name hyphenate your last name. How do you feel about this, Stokes? What you think?
Me personally, absolutely not. And I think for me, that's a deal breaker. Um, if we look at it, I respect the logic of trying to honor her family, but the same Bible that we want to pull from when it benefits us also says we leave our mother and father and cling to each other. So I respect that you want to honor your father, but I want to prefer that we show our children unity. I get that she may have her name already established. I've gone to grad school. I have a doctorate. I've seen a lot of women with doctorates. I've dated them. But it was still an understanding that if we did get married, that she would change her last name. I have no problem with her using her surname for her business practices. Some of them have their own offices. That's not a problem at all because in my mind, that's equivalent to a stage name. Completely
A
cool.
stage name.
Yeah, and I respect her hustle and I want to do all that she can. But if she's looking at what was already established before me, I can theoretically say the same. I have a house in Southern California, so that before my mortgage shouldn't have her name on it either. So if we're going to be one, we need to be one in all aspects.
Hey.
Okay. And for the men that are watching, I want to see what your opinion is in the comments. So please leave a comment and let us know what you think about having your that's if you're single. I don't want no issues. I ain't trying to cause no divorces. What you think about hyphenating your wife or future wife hyphenating her last name? So T, I know you said you wanted to go first, but I know I'm gonna bring you in for second. What you think?
Oh no, I mean, Stokes hit it on the head. That's a deal breaker for me, bro. I can't do it. I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? My name is very important to me. I know that a woman feels the same way, but at the end of the day, I gotta lead this ship. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. I gotta be the man. I gotta put my foot forward. You my woman. You my responsibility. This is my family. So my name gotta be on that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel about it. I ain't with it. And a lot of women are very professional, and I get it. Like Stokes said, you can use your stage name if you have to. But as far as everything else, you're gonna be Mrs. whatever my last name is. I don't know if y'all know me being my business like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, real quick. I'm gonna go to Jay Ward.
Hey, but nah, it should be Mrs. Me. You know what I'm saying? That's how we rocking on that. And like it was this lady that posted on Instagram this week, and they got a lot of blowback about, oh, he must be controlling and all this stuff. No, it's not about being controlled. It's like people want to pick what they want to go by. Like, okay, we're gonna be a Christian family, but we're not gonna follow these specific guidelines and rules. You know what I'm saying? Or we're gonna do this, but we're not gonna just go all the way in. Now we're gonna go all the way in. It's gonna be one family. You don't want your kids looking like, why y'all got different names and all that. Now my sister, she hyphenated her last name, but that's because I don't have no kids to keep our name going. You know what I'm saying? But I believe if I did have a kid, she probably wouldn't even go by, a hyphenated last name. So
got you. Let me go to the comments and Jay Ward coming to you. Queen, an attorney told me her husband didn't go to law school. She did. Ooh.
And that's the problem right there. They probably got all types of
save it, Crow. Save it.
To each his own.
Save it, Crow.
Yeah.
Save it. Sheila, in some professions, it's the only way to keep some of your bodies of work relevant and tied to you once you're married. Shanique, no, sir. Once you marry, it should be dropped. I'm old school. Okay. Erica Battle, I'm old school. I'm dropping my last name and I'm picking up his. I married him.
Okay, Erica.
Tiffany Chris Stahl. I hope I'm saying that right, Jay Ward. If the woman has established her career already, hyphenate that ish. Ooh, it's some different opinions in these comments. Kim, what if your name isn't even your real last name? What if your mama gave you the last name of a man that isn't your dad? Come on now, Kim. I'm not even gonna read that. Come on. And Tiffany and Dan Stokes. My name is incredibly important to me. My family name has a lineage of only 80 years and is very unique. All Christians on this planet are closely related to me. I'll never completely drop my last name, but I hyphenate it. And so, many women often dream about the day a man chooses her, but doesn't dream about choosing him and taking his last name with a question mark. Ooh. Ooh. Go ahead, Jay Ward.
So I'm gonna come at it from a couple of different angles on this one. One, let me just say that in other cultures and historically, oftentimes when a husband married a man's daughter, he took that man's name. It depends on who brought more financially to the table, who had more land, who had more assets and things like that. So let me be as blunt as possible. I don't give a shit about if you hyphenate your name. That's so minuscule. I wouldn't argue about that one bit. I don't care. Like somebody was saying in the comments, my last name shouldn't even be my last name. You see what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of times we took last names from slave owners and all that, man. I'm not worried about that. As long as we happy, I don't care if you have a hyphen in your name. That don't make a lick of sense to me. I don't care. A lot of it is, and I'm not accusing anybody of this, but a lot of people want to drive their nail in because they want ownership of somebody. And I'm like, I'm just not with that. I'm not accusing anybody of being like that. But a lot of people like, it's just the principle of it. It's just the principle of it. It's the principle. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all arguing over something that's so petty until it doesn't even make sense. Like my last name should be Phillips. It shouldn't even be Ward. But I've established, like Stokes was saying, my stage name is Jay Ward. So now at this point, I want to make sure that I continue that legacy. And the man whose last name is Ward, I do love him as like a father anyway. And he did raise me as his child for a long time. So I don't want to disrespect him by changing my last name because I carry on his last name. So my son's name has my biological dad, his last name, and mine. So I'm like, and once he's old enough and I explain how complicated this is, I'm gonna tell him if you want to drop one and keep the other one, or if you want to keep both of them, that's on you, son, because you're a grown man and you can make that decision on your own. But honestly, just like Osei was saying, so when you get a divorce, do you got to get a man the name back? So it's just like we arguing over names. We really like we real life go. We gonna break up. That's a deal breaker because you don't want to take my last name. That ain't no deal breaker for me. That's something I ain't even. I say, man, let's go take a shot and let's move on to the next topic. I'm not about to argue over nothing like that. But that's just my opinion on that.
And it's funny you say that, Jay Ward. I don't think my last name is supposed to be Ward either, but that's a conversation for another day. Crow. Because my daddy last name Ward, my granddaddy last name Brown. But that's, like I said, a discussion for another day. Bro, how you feeling?
You look like a Brown. Oh, Devin Brown looking. No.
Go ahead, Crow.
Hello, one moment. First off, Jay Ward, you drunk some of that Crowley Kool-Aid, boy. You sound a little angry as they were.
my internet working. So,
right. Jay Ward got to pick up his Wi-Fi.
Jay Ward internet working this week. He ready.
He got a little Crowley in him. So look, I'm not mad at you. I understand this passion. They think it's anger. It's passion. So shout out to you, Jay Ward, for that passion you just brought, my brother. Honestly, with the last name, Jay Ward just really kind of opened my eyes just by 2%. And I say 2%. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna kind of dive into the past for a moment. Everyone used to introduce themselves by their grandfather's name, their great-grandfather's name, their father's name, before they even gave their name. And that's how lineage was passed down from family to family, because you were known by your great-grandfathers, your grandfathers, and your father's name. And then you gave your name. And then when you had kids with a man, he gave his father's name in order for people to understand his lineage and where he came from.
It's not in the bathroom. Look under the sink, Bobby.
Corey ass. Go ahead.
Right. Hey, I had to give him that moment real fast.
Right.
But once you understand that the father names supposed to carry weight. And I get women want to keep their family name alive, but this man has now dropped on his knee, has spent this money on this expensive ring, even before you get married, and you're not humble enough to drop your last name after this man has invested. And yeah, you all invested together by joint accounts like we discussed earlier. I understand all that. And you probably gave him money and da 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 da. I understand that. But now this man is giving up something. He's telling the world, I'm about to give up something. And it's on you to make that choice to give up your life. But this man is stepping out there on faith. So hopefully you will be humble enough as a woman and give up that last name. He's sacrificing in the beginning. So why not sacrifice in the beginning with that simple thing? But I kind of agree, like I say, Jay Ward, 2% in a way. I'm open for the discussion, but at the end of the day, Crowley gonna want you to have Crowley as your last name. And if you're a doctor and if you're a lawyer and only way that 2% might open up, you got to have your name on that building as such and such associations, law firm, or MD family practice, such and such. You just working at a law firm or just working at a hospital being a regular doctor without a main serious practice, I'm sorry, you got to be Crowley.
So I'm going to ask y'all, how do y'all feel about the woman coming up to you and saying, hey, would you step away if y'all spend all this time, y'all put in years, and you say, I'm not taking your last name because I have this, and this going for myself. Would you step away?
Is it a practice with your name on it? Like, I don't care about you writing. I don't care about you writing articles and journals. Everybody write articles and journals as doctors and all of this. Let's be real. At some point, you publish some type of article. That's cool. But if your name is not literally, and you don't got people working for you under you, I'm sorry. You can kind of let that go.
I know Jay Ward said it don't matter to him. So I'm gonna get Rob and CJB because I saw some other comments that said she's not taking your last name if your ex-wife still has your last name, which is very interesting. I think it's gonna tie into our next topic later on down the line. But if she has a lot, like really has a lot going for herself, or practice or articles or whatever the case may be, she say, hey, I don't want to take your last name. Does that end the relationship for y'all?
Beyonce say Miss Carter. Go ahead.
It's not about the historical meanings of slave names and about how celebrities do. This is about me and you, and we are regular people. Mm-hmm. And it's just me. It's like everybody thinks different. We all have different opinions. But for me, we wouldn't work out if that's what you believe. Like I've been in a situation like that. I've heard every excuse you can think of. I'm the last of the this and this. I went to law school. I went to medical school. This last name is here. This last name is there. That's cool. That's fine and dandy. I respect it, but it's either gonna be. It's just some things non-negotiable, right? It's non-negotiable things on both ends. You taking my last name is non-negotiable. Now it's either gonna be yay or nay. And if it's nay, then we probably need to take a step back. I don't even think it's something that you should drag on. If it's like when you drag on stuff, it's just you're only kicking the can down the road. So if y'all can't come to one consensus decision, then you both need to reevaluate where y'all at. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. I'm not gonna. It's like I think it's really a cultural thing as far as hyphenating names. Like I think that's like another topic for another day, but we mainly see it within our culture versus in everybody else's cultures. I don't know what really started it, but that's fine. But it depends on the person. Some people might be cool with it. Jawar said he doesn't care. I'm the opposite. That's a non-negotiable for me.
Oh, somebody, Deanna. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right.
Deanna
Hackett.
That's Diana, boy.
Diana. It's Diana.
That's Crow fault. The reason I mispronounced
No, I'm
it.
messing with her. I'm messing with her.
But she said, if they step away, he never loved her. Give them back to the streets.
Well, Deanna, how about this? If she didn't take it, she never loved me.
Ooh.
How about that?
Woo! Say that again, Corey.
Now, let's flip it. Let's flip it. Y'all always playing that card. He never loved her. He ain't do this,
Right.
and this.
Say it again.
How about she never loved me?
And
If you want to talk, shit.
Okay, anybody?
All right.
Always flipping it. He don't do this. He don't love her. All that. Nah, we ain't flipping that. Nah, ain't nobody got. We ain't doing that tonight.
No, we
you
got
remember about that engagement ring? How about that?
CJB.
All right.
CJB turned tonight. What's
Rob,
going on?
It's tequila, baby.
Okay, so why is it always the issue when men have non-negotiables in a relationship? Like, it's always the issue. Whenever a man has a rule that he sticks by, he's firm on it, people always try to make us waver on our point and stuff, unless it's a point that everybody agrees on, and then it's good to go. But if it's something that's controversial or something that's traditional or something that we truly believe in, people want to make us waver on it. And when we don't waver on it, they start making all these different, judgments on our character. And
It's trying to be controlled.
it's not that. So I've been married twice. So both times I got married, it's never been an issue of whether my spouse was going to take my name. I never had to talk about it. I never had to think about it, because the context of the whole thing is, for people who are spiritual, whenever you get married, things that happen within your family, you as a man are responsible for your family. So if something happens under your family umbrella, if you are spiritual, God is going to hit you in the face with stuff that's happening under the umbrella of your name. And so you are responsible for covering your family, your wife, your kids, etc. So if something happens under your umbrella, God's going to hit you in the face, because he is putting you as the head of the household to make sure your family is covered, which means that you need to be covering your family, and you need to be the one that's taking responsibility for everything under your family. That's not necessarily financial. You should be there for your family in all those aspects, which is why the name changing is a symbolic showing to the world that you as a man are covering your family, and you're making sure your family is good. And so I've just never had that conversation of, are you going to do this? Or are you not going to do that? So
Reverend Rob is in the building.
Like I said, I understand we're in the new age, but I still am traditional as far as me taking care of my family, me taking care of the bills, me taking care of my wife and my kids, and me making sure my family's covered, and me doing everything I need to do to make sure my family's good to go. I'm still of that ilk of that's what you're supposed to do. It's a new age, so maybe that's different, but that's how I feel about it, and that's why I believe that should be something.
T, you read my mind, so I'm gonna go to this comment. This may be another topic for another day. Feminists want equality until it comes to equal responsibility. I don't know how y'all feel about this. Don't address that right now. We'll talk about that another time.
I'm gonna sip my drink.
That's a later.
I'm gonna sip my drink on that one.
Miss Marie, I didn't know people thought so heavily about this. I thought that's what a woman did. These comments are interesting. I'm learning something new. And I think that's the point of the show. I'm glad we are bringing these conversations to the forefront and getting both the male, mostly the male, but the male and the woman perspective, so we can have these conversations in the future with our spouse and know before we make these decisions for the long term how we feel about this. Absolutely. Do we have any final comments before we move to the next topic?
I do.
I ain't trying to hear that shit tonight.
Sure.
Sorry, LB.
He on
It's Wi-Fi. Go ahead.
I just want to ask Rob two questions. You make rules? Like you give your wife rules?
Nope.
That's what you said. You said one rule. That's the rule. You said that. Now I'm like, I can't get nobody no rule. Not no grown person.
No, I said as the head of my household, what happens under the Wallace umbrella is my responsibility. And so my responsibility is to make sure my wife and my kids are taken care of. We are in a partnership. My wife submits to me, I submit to my wife, and then we both submit to God. And so it's a partnership. And so there are no rules.
Chill out, Osei. So my other statement is like, I get what you're saying about the Bible thing, the God thing, but I think God can respect your relationship because that's a legal thing. That's a man-made thing, putting the courts involved in your marriage. So I think that, God can find you wherever you at. He know the numbers of the hair on your head. So I don't think he ain't gonna miss you because your last name ain't the same as your husband's. I think that's
why I said it's a symbolic thing, not something that God is telling you to do. Yep. The name change is symbolic. Right. It's symbolic
for who? It's symbolic for God or it's symbolic for man?
It's symbolic of the biblical background of the marriage.
So
symbolic.
We're gonna move on. I thank you two gentlemen. We'll have to talk more about this in the group chat, but I thank y'all for chiming on this one. The next topic, this one is funny. I wish my boy Dino had better internet so we can chime on this one too. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the video. The video of the young lady walking up. I wish I'm gonna have to figure out a way to add in videos in this stream. But
hold up, say what?
The video of hold on, say what? The video of the young lady going up to the Jeep, putting gasoline in the Jeep, and setting it on fire, blowing the Jeep up and hurting herself in the process. So I want to ask my brothers, and I wish Dino was there because I've heard so many stories of my women friends who've taken license plates off of my frat brothers' cars or my friends' cars, torn them up, or they've keyed the car, or they burned his clothes, so on and so forth. Have you ever experienced or know of an experience of a woman vandalizing or setting your stuff on fire? How did you respond, and how do you feel about it? And what do you think about the young lady who set that Jeep on fire? What should be her consequences to that situation? Go ahead, CJB. I already know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Lock her ass up. I don't care what somebody does. That does not give you the right to set somebody's property on fire.
Say it again.
And it's two.
Say it again.
Other cars. What?
What you just said? Say it again.
Lock her ass up.
No, after that.
It doesn't give you. I don't care what somebody did. It doesn't give you the right to set somebody's property on fire, destroy their property. I don't care. It's like it was two other cars beside the car that she set on fire. So what if she would have started a whole reaction where all the cars that was nearby was on fire? Then what was so funny about the shit, she didn't even know how to light the shit on fire. While her head was still in the car. Like, come on, what kind of shit is that?
She knocked her own self unconscious.
Yeah, I'm surprised her eyebrows was still on when they took the
face wasn't melted.
But that's not cool, man. I don't care what somebody do. You don't go out destroying folks' property and vandalizing people and abusing and punching people. That ain't cool. Like you gotta take the L, hold yourself accountable, and move forward. Like I really don't even know what happened, but she did set somebody's car on fire in an apartment complex.
That's so
whatever happened, like it was deep because she did that shit in broad daylight.
Hold on, let me bring this comment up because they makes a good point. I'm gonna let Jay Boyd go next. You do not have to choose how people respond when you hurt them.
Oh my God.
What? Zay.
That's a Jay Ward comment. He got a burner account. He typed it. That's Jay Ward burner account.
We
What
need
y'all
Probably
think?
what Jay Ward would write down his notepad. He probably stole this talking. Zay, you stole Jay Ward talking point. I'm pretty sure
Did.
you gonna say.
Please, man.
we need Zay husband.
Y'all be quiet.
Hello, we need Zay husband shut that all the way down, man.
What you think, Jay?
She stole
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something similar to that. So when I was in undergrad, I was at rehearsal, rehearsing for a show. I came outside, and not only was my car keyed, but my left front tire was on flat, and my back right tire was on flat. So that's the only time I ever, had that happen. And then, but here's how I got perspective on it. When it happened, I didn't even know who to accuse because of me being in the streets. So it gave me perspective because I'm like, damn, I don't even know who to get mad at. So I had to start, going through cycles of who could have possibly done this. Then come to find out, the girls who did it was a friend of somebody I was talking to. And she was heartbroken, but it wasn't even me that had broken her heart. So I'm like, damn, you done vandalized my car over nothing. So recording, you're never in a situation where you supposed to A, put hands on anybody, B, vandalize their shit, C, mess with their jobs or livelihood of their family. I'm against that 100%. But because I'm so against that, we have to make sure that we're not playing around with people's hearts and feelings. And that does not justify you vandalizing shit. But when you playing like Martin on thin line between love and hate, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. He told that woman he loved her, and she fucked his world up. He shouldn't have done that.
You don't play.
So, I mean,
she should have took her L. The man left her for Mia. She should have took her L, went back to her penthouse, and lived happily ever after.
But Martin should have been 100 with her too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and like the young lady who in the video who vandalized the vehicle, we don't know what that meant. That man might have a whole nother family on her, and we don't know the details on that. But I still think that was extreme because she put herself in jeopardy. Like Corey said, she could have vandalized other vehicles. And you supposed to use a match and throw the match in the car as you walk away.
Let me get on instructions.
So the game is the game, man. Everybody's you're going to get your feelings hurt when you're dating or this, that, and the third. It is what it is. It happens.
You better have good insurance.
Take man, listen. It's like, what if that man would have it's like let's reverse it, right? So I have a problem with this. Every time a woman vandalizes some man's shit, then that shit celebrated. But if the roles were reversed and you see a man kicking a woman out and burning her shit and setting her car on fire, you're gonna hear abuse and he's controlling and this, that, and the third. It's like whatever that woman did, it doesn't give you the right to burn somebody's car. Put your hands on someone, mess with their jobs, livelihood. It's no justification for that.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Let me go to the comments, Rick. We got a lot of comments on this topic too. A lot of comments, mostly from women.
Yeah, naturally.
Chanel. Honestly, women get more upset over a man lying than the actual action. Lying takes away our choice to decide if we want to deal with whatever situation you have going on. Fifi had to go through equals them damn sick. Rob, get Fifi. Get. Queen, stay out the streets. We ain't in the streets. We not alpha beta.
Exactly.
Angela.
Shut up, Queen. You always talking shit.
Remember this. If you think we were in the streets, obviously you had to be in the streets to see us.
Damn.
Moving on.
Hey,
move on, Slim. Move on.
Let me move on. Be quiet, T.
I ain't said nothing at all, bro.
Angela, I'm not saying she was right, but I'm not saying she was wrong either. Of course, you would say that.
So
you would say that. Say, where you go? She burned the car because she sinned in so many nights. I get it. What?
so y'all ain't never woke up middle of the night in the Palisades with some sugar in your tank and a little, all that good stuff. Y'all ain't never. Never mind, my bad. I ain't gonna talk about it.
I had one rule: don't touch my vehicle. I've been set on fire. I've been hit by a car. I've been cut. Like, I'm dead serious. But women knew not to touch my vehicle.
Hey, them Palisades nights kind of crazy for me, bro.
I got insurance. I can cover my body. I'm good. I got insurance. I can cover my body.
So y'all be quiet. Dino, introduce yourself. What you drinking on?
Look, Crowley.
Let me get your thoughts on this topic.
I'm from Jackson, Mississippi. I'm drinking on nothing tonight. I'm on daddy duty all the way. If you hear any kids in the background playing Fortnite, it's going down over here. So the topic, say what now? Vandalizing cars. This has happened to me on multiple occasions. So the first time was at Jackson State. I had an 08 Impala, and I entered Jackson State in 2008. So it was like a prize to me. And I was dating this foreign chick, and I had a child on the way at the same time. And of course, I was playing the field because I was young and dumb and out of control. So me and my boys was walking to the car, and I hopped in a whip, and one of them was like, "Dude, there's a asterisk on your car." And I'm like, "Who the hell would put an asterisk on my car? Like an asterisk?" Yes, the star symbol that's on the phone. I guess star 67. Star on my phone, on my car, and she put it on the driver door. And I thought it was my oldest son's mother, so I'm not gonna lie, I retaliated. Her car was red, and I spray painted it blue.
Hey, Dino, I'm with you, bro.
I never got back at a female. Never.
If you gonna thrash me, I'm gonna thrash you. But the sad part about it is, years later at a homecoming, somebody approached me and told me exactly who did what they did to my car. And it was not my son's mother. So I just spray painted her car blue by mistake. So.
You ain't gotta come back.
Oh my goodness. No. Dino, I thought I had it bad, my boy. Real.
So what do you think she should have suffered, like, as far as consequences? And do you think what you did or did not do justified her putting an asterisk on your car?
I mean, I feel like it justified it, even though she didn't do it, but she put me through so much hell that I feel like, hey, it is what it is. I got something out of it. It made me feel good. As soon as I saw the car being blue, I felt great. I mean, it is what it is. Now, the second time, I was in Louisiana, and I don't know what happened with that, but she keyed my car, and she walked around with it, keyed it, and I said I'm gonna call the cops, and she said she didn't care. So I knew then to leave it alone.
Yeah. Go ahead, Crow.
Oh shit!
Make comments.
Man.
Crow, they said you got 9 lives in the comments, boy. That shit trippy. Yeah.
Hey, I honestly, like, real talk, I'm still cool with each of the women who literally have done these things. Like, literally. Yeah, majority of attended Jackson State. So during homecoming, we laugh about this stuff. But hey, shit was real during them Jackson State days.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring Stokes in. I'm gonna bring you back in.
Listen.
Oh man.
Go ahead, T.
Even though we talking about this, I just want to clarify that it was all a big misunderstanding and a failure of communication. It wasn't no cheating from the Alpha Beta brothers at all.
Hey, real talk. Let me tell my story about getting set on fire, T. The way they understand. All right. So This particular day in the Palisades, I'm chilling at my line brother apartment. My car was parked at my line brother's apartment. She thought I was at this young lady's place who stayed above my line brother. So I walked from my line brother's apartment, go to her apartment. As soon as I walk in, she like, oh, I told you about fooling with that bitch. I'm like, I'm not fooling with that bitch. She was like, yo, yes, you are. You can fool with any bitch but that bitch. I'm like, I told you I wasn't. She went in her room in the Palisades. I go, walk behind her. She slams the door. Her roommates come out here to argue and they like, what's going on? I'm like, blah, blah, blah is tripping. All I need is, since she's tripping, let me get my stuff out real fast. So I'm knocking on the door. We talking, knocking on the door. Open the door. Here comes, and y'all know I love wearing white beaters back in the days, which are A-neck t-shirts. Next thing I know, the door open. Here comes a blue orange flame engulfing me.
Damn.
And I went,
Hold on. Let's back up. Let's go all the way back. Tiffany Kristoff said, "Stop lying. Stop lying. AB man doing deep cheat sounds like it. Y'all telling on yourself tonight. Absolutely not. Men
No.
alpha beta
no.
do not cheat. We are great husband material. If you want a husband, find you a man of alpha beta. We've been preaching this for the longest. I have a thread on my Facebook that shows it. The proof is in the pudding. We do not cheat. There is miscommunications that may happen. Y'all may think one thing,
Thank
but it's
you.
something totally different. Like
Thank
Chloe
you.
said, he was at his friend apartment.
I was at my line brother apartment. I was at Dre's apartment.
And she thinking he somewhere else. That's her fault. They ain't got nothing to do with him. Stokes, go ahead.
I often hear that you hurt my feelings, I hurt your car. I mean, this doesn't equate that way, because when things are reversed, the first thing is labeled us as, oh, you acting like a female, you acting like a B, you sensitive, you doing X, Y, and Z. So it doesn't justify that because there's a misunderstanding when you came on the negative end of it, you determined to key his car, mess up his property, knowing that you wouldn't know that done to you. That's just wrong.
Say it again for me, Stokes.
I just feel like, look, exchange the issue for an issue. So, like, if I hurt your feelings, okay, cuss me, I do whatever you got to do. That's not the same thing as keying my car. Because if I break in your house and set your house on fire, I'm going to jail for arson. So it's not the same equivalency.
Absolutely. And for the people that's asking for proof, I will post or share the post on my Facebook post tonight and show y'all what I'm telling you, because y'all don't believe fat meat greasy or pigs can fly. I'm gonna show you. But why do y'all feel women resort to vandalism or setting things on fire when they could just break it off? Like,
because men don't press charges.
Say it again,
Rob.
Say it again, Rob.
Yeah.
Because men don't press charges, and women only see domestic violence when it's a man hitting on a woman, and not when it's a woman doing something to a man.
That one and Angela Bassett's scene in Waiting to Exhale was so good that you had women out here reenacting that shit. I guarantee you, old girl watched that movie, and that's when she decided to let old boy a car on fire. But like Rob said, men don't press charges; they just take that L, whether it was domestic violence or vandalism, and they keep it pushing. It's like even if you're a man and you go to the police department to file a charge, they'll look at you like you crazy. Like Jay Ward talked about thin line between love and hate. When Barry went down to the police station, he said they were laughing. So it's like stuff like that is kind of frowned upon from the eyes of a man. So you're not going to. Most men are not going to file charges in situations like that.
I also think friends do too, though.
The real reason is because men are physically stronger than women, so they can't fight you. So they have to do the next best in quotation thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's burning your clothes out, burning your Jordan, putting sugar in your tank, you know what I'm saying, messing up your car, you know, that little bitty petty stuff, man. We grown, man. We can't be doing that.
Yeah.
Hey, but
So
still,
I had somebody hit me in my sleep because I was stronger than them. So that does happen as well. So I had somebody wake me up,
Oh,
punching
that's
me in the
right.
face.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
right.
because they are weaker than you, don't mean they won't shoot, stab, and hit you with a car
So
because they are weaker than you.
So she
And
hit.
I got the bumper on my leg to this day. The bumper made, hey, like if I wear shorts, you can see the bumper imprint on my right leg. No lie.
hey, look, I'm definitely can't sleep on these women, man. Yeah, the same thing happened to Steve McNair and all this other stuff. Like, there's plenty of examples of women taking revenge. You heard of
Yep.
you do a lot more, but you have to factor in the friend circles. If somebody hurt my feelings, I come to y'all and talk to y'all about it. At best, we're gonna just y'all make fun of me or laugh at the situation. You know, we'll get thick skin and we'll move on. Well, her, she'll have a whole sister circle, and they'll hype her up. No, he was wrong. He was trash. Let's go ride on him. I got my car ready. They're feeding into that emotion, and they can't let it go. It has to release in some kind of way, and typically that's anger.
Got you. Veronica Jackson, y'all have question. Y'all, I guess this means you have to question. Y'all have to question the women that y'all attract. I don't know if we can blame that on the women that we attract, but I think we addressed it in the earlier topic too, but we'll probably address it in the first one. But we're gonna move on. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move on?
Can I
I
address
don't care.
it real fast?
Go ahead, real quick. Quote in CJB, real quick.
I would say this honestly. With that being said, I try to be as open about my situation, understanding I'm trying to have with the woman as best as possible. So their emotions get involved, and I try to make sure we discuss those emotions. But sometimes, like they say, y'all women, y'all emotions just take over. And even though I think we have an understanding, and you're saying yes, Crowley, I understand this is what it is. But at the end of the day, I'm getting hit by a car, walking in the fire, getting cut. So a woman emotions, I don't think they can even process their emotions and truly understand what they want and need to say, even though they're agreeing with, yes, I'll continue with whatever we have going on, but their emotions and their feelings are a little bit deeper than what we see it, but we throw the blind eye to it, to be honest.
Hey, Crow, the best part about it is a lot of women feel that things can be forgiven by an apology and therapy. Like, that's the cure-all. I can't never get mad enough to slap the shit out of her and to be like, I'm sorry, let me go see therapy about it. I have to control my emotions because she get to burn my car. It's not equivalent.
I understand that, Stokes, but it's kind of like that double standard.
That's the word. Go ahead, CJB.
I'm good. I don't have anything further to say.
Stokes said a word on that one. So last two topics. So we talked about having an ex-wife. We talked about financials and marriage and everything else, and having those communications and those conversations before marriage. But we never really talked about the actual action of marrying, and if you are marrying the person you really want to marrying the first choice, marrying that person that you really want to be with, and then you experience, that doesn't work out, and you marry someone that you have to settle for. So I'm gonna ask my brother this tonight. Would you marry? I'm gonna have to sell a few people out. I don't want to know.
Hey, look, I'm reaching. Do I want tequila? Do I want? I don't even know which one to go for this topic.
Would you marry? I was gonna post it. Would you marry a woman that is not your first choice? Like, would you settle and marry someone that is not your first choice? I don't know who want to go first. I ain't calling no names. Just speak out.
I go for no. I would not marry someone that's not my first choice. I'd rather stay single. But then again, I'm responsible in regard to that. Like, I know people that married somebody that wasn't their first choice, and it ultimately led to divorce. So you see that pretty much happen a lot, like on both sides. It's like a safe choice. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't do it, but I've seen people that have done.
Shanique, what you mean? Hey, Ralph Swift, what I do?
Somebody got some
Go ahead, Stokes. I want to bring Dead Water and Dino on this one too.
Man.
Go ahead.
Okay, so would I marry someone? Somebody's phone on. There's a little background noise.
This T, I had to mute him.
What I got?
Don't worry, you muted. Go ahead, Stokes.
Appreciate it. So would I marry someone that wasn't my first choice? Yes, I would actually. If you were, it happens more than we really realize. What about arranged marriages? Well, there's other cultures that still do that to this day. You know, there's a lot to still gain from someone else, and realistically, we have become sensitive to the word, settling. If I am going for someone, typically I'm using carnal urges. I'm thinking about what meets my five senses. How does she touch, taste, smell, feel, look, whatever? Is she attracted to me visually? That's not necessarily what I need. So what I'm chasing for to stimulate me may not be the best thing for me. So you may want to factor out, okay, what about compatibility? Is she the type of mother you need? Is she the type of woman that's going to help you reach the next level? Sometimes we're messing with people that are good for the weekend, but not good for the lifetime. So we really got to think about long-term investments versus quick cash that we're trying to do because she's appealing to our eye. So would I marry someone that wasn't my first choice? Yes, because my first choice, from my experience, has not always been the best one for me.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's heavy, Stokes.
Good one.
Okay, right.
Who going next? Because I don't know what to call them.
You really wouldn't know if you're somebody's second or first choice unless they told you anyway. Like, let's just put that out there.
No, let's be real. Let's be real about this one now. Some women know that they truly are not their man's first choice because they will throw that name up, that ex you just left here and there in the relationships. I'm not talking just yet, but some women have done that. I'll just say that much. Who next?
Have y'all ever seen the photograph?
Yeah.
Okay, so life happens, man. You know what I'm saying? People,
I think that's different.
no, it's really not, bro. Like, people drift away, but you know what I'm saying? They have that love and all. Like, it really happens in real life, man. That movie was so true, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, but I think one of the brothers said in the chat, they were like, whoever you marry is who you supposed to marry in the end, bro. Like, so your first marriage usually gonna be whatever it's supposed to be in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Past relationships teach you things and prepare you for the future. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that it's really a second choice because maybe it's what God put in your life for you. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe that it happened more than y'all would like to admit. You know what I'm saying? And it is.
Yeah, I agree. It happens.
Yeah.
Like,
But the question is, would you do it?
I wouldn't do it, but it happens.
Nah, whatever gonna happen, bro.
Man, look.
Let me ask you a question. So you wasn't dating because you had some serious relationships before this one. You wasn't dating one chick and was like, oh man, I think she might be that one. Before you took it off and moved on, you didn't have an inkling of a thought.
No, I didn't. Like, I wasn't at that time. I wasn't dating to marry. Like, I was
in the gym practicing. You knew you were going to the gym.
Hoeing.
No.
Just say it.
I was. Come back to me with the word I want to say.
Let me go to the comments real quick because this is one comment I really want to address. But let me scroll up. Miss Foster, Ayika, I don't care about being your first choice. I need to be your best answer. That's a good one. Ooh. Reverend D. Stokes, and Stokes said a word. Okay, I see him. I stayed with my second choice for 18 years, and now I know what hurt means. But the next husband, we're going to be on a different level on all levels, and financial manipulation will not be a tool to keep me. Ooh, that's a good one. My first choice died during deployment in 2009. So, yes, I would marry someone who was my first choice. I think that's different, though. I absolutely think that's different. And T, going to highlight the one I wanted to get to. My first choice is the dude with the, But I know
that Mandingo,
right?
that black man.
Right?
Yeah.
But I know he isn't good for me. So why is he your first choice then?
Man, like being
Because
real,
he's
like
swinging and breaking that back
hold on,
like
let me
Later
keep going.
chose August.
Let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me read a few more. Miss Chauncey Kitchens. People marry second choices every day. B. First choice not necessarily always means best choice.
That's real.
That's real. That's a good one. Stokes, to be honest, women settle all the time. After 35, that list gets a little slim. That is absolutely true. Absolutely. After a certain age, you're like, okay, what the hell? Especially with kids involved and so on and so forth. Dino, what you got for me?
First off, let me make the public service announcement. If your girl ever been with me, you are her second choice. Thank you. He don't want to be with you. You her second choice. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
WTS alert.
Bruh, in her mind, she thinking about me. I'm just telling the truth. She could be about to marry you. She's still thinking about me. I know. Check my DMs and text messages. She in there.
I'm thinking on that one, Dino.
But I would not marry anyone that's not my first choice. I see a lot of women that do it all the time because they live off that timeline. They feel like there's a timeline on life, and whoever pops the question is who I need to be with. When most of the time you see women marry young, and then years later they find themselves in divorce because they're not happy. That's because you settled for what you should have been passing through. A lot of people, because you learn from relationships. It's either a blessing or a lesson, as they always say. So, I mean, somebody like me come around, I can either be a blessing or a lesson. Most of the time, I'm gonna be a blessing. I'm just being honest because I done put a lot of women through a lot of stuff that then made them want to do stuff like key cars and do things like that. But I mean, if I'm not the blessing for you, then I'm just not a blessing for you. You just live and learn as you go. So many people are settling when you need to be passing time and learning from the person you with. It just ain't it.
I got you. That's fair. Rob, what you think on this one?
So I wouldn't marry my second choice because I think you have to have a level of discernment when you're choosing a mate. Like you have to be able to pick out the qualities that you're looking for in the person that you want to get with, so you don't go through the rigmarole of picking somebody that's wrong for you. But I do believe people do pick their second, third, fourth, or fifth choice because a lot of people that they feel they should be with are probably already in relationships right now. So they have no other choice but to go to somebody else, or the person they want to be with is toxic for them. You know, they bad for each other, or for whatever reason. So I think it happens. Is it a bad thing? It just depends on the two people, but I'm sure it happens way more than a lot of people want to admit. But if you're with that person, you all are making each other happy. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But I'm sure it happens a lot.
Okay. I don't think we heard from Tia Crow in depth. What y'all got for me?
I'll let T. You want to go last? I'll let T go last.
We're going last because he ain't talking on this topic.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna be real. A lot of y'all men and women are choosing y'all not second choice, your third and fourth choice. Because when we have these HBCU homecomings, your real true first love, not your high school love, but that real true first love who got in your ear like a Dino, Swift.
Don't put me in this.
I'm just being real about it.
They hitting us up saying, "Homecoming here, I'm here."
Hey. Yeah, that real, but that didn't work out for you. So then you ventured off and found this career, and so you've been a career woman or a career man for so long, and you like, man, I see all my people around me doing their thing. I think it's time for me to do my thing, and so you start kind of conforming what you were really looking for in a person. And women don't like to say they settle, but let's be real. A lot of women settle because they wouldn't be out here sleeping with your Dinos and your Crowleys. And I'm just being real. They wouldn't. And I'm talking about married women. I'm talking about engaged women. I'm just being real about this. Like they're missing that dude that they used to date in the past because their husband and their new dude not presenting that. That's why they communicate with them low key on all these social medias. Low key like pictures, low key. Let's be real about it. You're not just liking his picture because that's a friend in the past. Man, if you are honest with yourself, stop lying to yourself. Even the men need to stop lying to themselves.
Because they married a lame.
Picking their second and third and fourth and fifth choices out here. Just being real about it. Everybody, a lot of people is. And if you do that, accept that, ain't nothing wrong with that. Then deal to making yourself number one in that person's life. That's all you need to do. Ain't nothing wrong with making yourself number one in somebody's life, but you just have to accept that you wasn't that person's number one.
Let me go to these comments real quick. Then we go to T. And Jay Ward close it out for us. Stokes. If a person wouldn't marry their second choice, they wouldn't be dating more than one person at a time, hedging their bets. Ms. Shavers, maybe the first choice is not the good choice. We all chose the first one when we were young. Maybe the second choice is when we're grown. I think that's a fair comment. That's fair. Letitia Jackson, I agree to a certain extent. I do think that as you get older and mature, what you would have chosen at 20, you don't choose at 30 or 40. And I think we pretty much all agree to that comment. Jessica, but what if she was not your first or their first choice? And Ms. Early, honestly, I think that everyone has a perfect mate, and that mate may not be on your radar because you have preferences or not your first choice. I feel like you should just be open to anything and anyone. Don't know about that one. T, go ahead. Hold on. With my number changed, so I'm good at coming home. I think homecoming is a little bit different, though. Homecoming, you're not really trying to be with that person for the long term. You're just trying to be with that person for the night. So
the whole ass for homecoming.
No, ain't no hall pass. If you call yourself Ben, I'm just being real. It should be no way should nobody be able to get in your ear, man or woman.
I don't know, Crow. I saw a comment that they need their tune up. They got to make sure that the engine ready.
Your husband and your wife thing up every day.
Because
he ain't knocking her down like me, Crow. That's why she in my DMs. I told you.
I'm saying they chose a Will Smith. They chose their second, third choice when they should have went on and chose a Pop, August, Dino. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. They don't want to help. They don't like rough link. They don't like a man with grit. But they'll choose these cleaned up Russell Wilson and all these Will Smith dudes, and knowing that they really want somebody who really got some protection and roughness in them. Let's just be real.
But they choosing the Dino, bro.
DMX made that song.
They choosing the Dino, bro.
Like me, really you get that whole pass for homecoming, but that's another topic for another day.
Man, hey, listen, I just want to say, they choosing Dino. Dino just ain't choosing them. So they got to settle for what they got to settle for.
I mean, they look up to Ciara, man, and that's what she did with Russell. So it is what it is, man. You just gotta take it on the chin, man. Like I said earlier, people gonna pick what they pick in the end. So maybe that is what God wants for you, man. So we can't just be, like talking down on the second choice or whatever. I mean, people have a life. Life happens, man. Shit happens. Go watch the photograph, like I said earlier, bro. Like, sometimes it be the right person at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Like that really happened, bro. So I don't really think too bad about it. Like y'all really saying like it's a bad thing about like second choice and all that. I mean, people evolve. You shouldn't be the same person that you are, at 35 that you was at 25. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and then your preferences change over time too. Like at one time you might was looking for that girl that was blah blah blah, and now that you older, you looking for a career woman and all that stuff. So I mean, I don't really look at it as a bad thing, man.
That's true. Jay Ward, go ahead and wrap us up.
I just want to say, man, we might not even make it to that last time. I just want to say that I agree with T. And I agree with a lot of what everybody's saying. So I like to think about it like T's saying. Just because someone was your first choice at 21, that doesn't mean that that same person will be your first choice at 33. Like you see things differently. Like when I was 21, the people that I thought would be my first choice, I wouldn't even look their way now. But the people that was right in front of my face when I was 19, 20, 21, you know, I realize now that that person would be my first choice. So it changes over time as you mature, as as you grow in life, it changes. And I also think that, and I'm gonna use, for example, my 10 Dino, like he's saying, it's a lot of women that chose him, but he wouldn't choose them back. So I think that's a different type of settling for your second choice. If that first choice wasn't available, that's something different. And then I saw one of the comments talking about, physical things and things like that. A lot of times when you first, like I used to want a Camaro badly. I still might get one, but I barely can fit in a Camaro. And that was my first choice car. But then I realized that I might need a truck because I'm a little bit too big for a car. So that meant that, just because it was my first choice, I think a lot of times we confuse first choices with first lust. This is the first one I really lusted after. And like this is
this car, you would get in there and you had the finances to get it, you would buy that car.
Yeah. But I look at it too like when you have a woman that you see, that may be your first choice sexually, but she never was your first choice long term.
So at the end of the day, if you got an opportunity to hit that first choice, you gonna hit that first choice, just like you gonna buy that Camaro, my dude.
I'm gonna buy the Camaro and the truck.
Let's this shit up. I'm with your kids tonight, my nigga. Let's be real.
Let's be real.
Low life pieces of anyway. So I really think it's about preference, but I think the real question is, can you ultimately be happy with someone that wasn't that first eye-popping choice that you saw? And I think the answer to that, like T is saying, absolutely yes. You can have a long life with that person and adjust what you look for.
Still go get your Camaro if you can get it, my nigga. Come on, man. Stop trying to press that shit up.
You may not want that Camaro anymore.
Let him finish.
You may not want that Camaro anymore because you see now that wasn't best for you. And Dino in his own way may have spared a lot of women the heartbreak that he was going to give them eventually. I look back on in my past lives, and I say, I've spared people and I knew this when I was a piece of shit. And when I was a scumbag, I tried to let people know I'm really saving you from some down the road shit. But I realized later that they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So, they were looking at me as a first choice before I even knew I could be a first choice. So a lot of times, and that's what we talked about a couple episodes ago about marrying potential or being with someone because of their potential. So a lot of times when we look at these first choices, I think we need to refine the criteria to be a first choice. And, are we just choosing them to be with sexually? Or are we choosing them to be with in a relationship? Or are we choosing them to be in a marriage?
Being said, Sheila Mosley Shavers, let's talk about meeting a woman that is not sexually equal to you. Can you be happy with her, and can she be taught? There may need to be a discussion on his own, too.
Bro, put that for next week, bro.
That's next week. I definitely like that. That's definitely next week.
We'll discuss that one next week, and we'll put that on the topic list. Now, I saw you ready to highlight it, too, but we'll talk about that one next week. Make sure y'all screenshot it or put it in the chat. Kim, hold on.
Dino is not a scumbag.
I am not.
Dino is a sincere man. So is Jay Ward. Let's put that out there.
A gentleman.
All right, continue, sir.
I own my shit. I know when I was a scumbag. I knew when I was in the streets, I was for the streets.
But see, you was in the streets prior to being Alpha Beta. Once you became Alpha Beta,
you was mad drama. Mad drama don't count. Like the
mad drama had you acting a fool.
Yeah,
just
you was on stage.
And I think it's a difference between getting that Camaro for the moment and getting that truck for long term. It's nothing with being pleased. I don't think there's anything wrong with being pleased in that moment, but that's another topic for another day too. Any final thoughts on this topic before we move to the last one?
We still got enough time for that last one?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna drag this one out. We're gonna finish this one.
Okay.
We're gonna ride
okay. Well, we'll bring y'all in on the last one. So, who said AB made it worse?
Right.
Quinn, you gotta stop. Hey, you gotta stop that, Quinn.
Hey, tell has been. I mean, tell wanna be. Tell that wanna be. She might want to stop tripping. And this coming from Crowley.
I can't believe Quinn, bro. Like,
tell that wanna be. She might
out of everybody it could be, bro. I can't believe it. I'm hurt.
And both people, Sheila, Annette Liddell, and Sheila Mosley said, we were not in the streets or giving people a pass. We are innocent. We dated and we did things to right. I'm gonna post that post.
Yeah, we date one woman at a time, like Jay Ward said, one car garage. That's it.
So, with that being said, the last topic we talked about, the relationships. We talked about hyphenated. We talked about the things that men and women want, but we never talked about how men like to be treated, catered to, spoiled, buying gifts for the man, so on and so forth. Just putting a smile on your face, like the things your spouse, your partner, the person dating does to make you happy. Let me ask y'all guys this, so the women listening will have a thought too.
Because they didn't understand about juggling the balls and all of that last week.
You can bring it, Crow, bring it up when it's time, your time to speak.
Juggling them.
That's last week. How do you want to be spoiled? How do you want to be catered to? And Dino, I'm gonna let you go first. I need to bring in Rob and Stokes in this one too.
That's cool.
How do you like to be spoiled and catered to?
Man, I got a lifetime example. When I first moved to Baton Rouge, I don't know what the occasion was, but the same girl that keyed my car, at least. I mean, this gives her a reason, so I get it. But she picked me up, and she actually opened the door for me and had me sit on the passenger side. I didn't know how to feel about her opening the door for me, but she had reservations for us at a restaurant. She took me out. She bought me candles from Bath and Body Works, and like literally did everything as if it was like my birthday or something. And she did everything that I had never felt from a woman. It was something that I was always used to doing. So for a woman to just go all out and just show you that you're important, that's very appreciative. Like, we don't get that often, because so often we get the women that say, well, he's supposed to take me out, or he's supposed to show me a good time, and he's supposed to pay for this. But when they step out and do everything for you, it's unique. So that made me feel special. And in return, she got some grade A, which is why she keyed my car when I stopped.
Yes.
So, hold on. Let's reiterate. So for you, were just buying those candles, opening the door.
Man, just showing me appreciation, man. I don't care nothing about no money or none of that crazy stuff. Just show me that you care, that you're willing to step out and do something outside of the norm. So her doing something outside of the norm was very appreciative.
Gotcha. CJB, how you feel?
I think I agree with Dino. Like, I'm not a high maintenance person, and I wouldn't ask for nothing that I wouldn't give back. So I think just showing like overall appreciation, respect, concern, I think that goes a long way. Like, somebody asks you how your day was, or what went wrong with it, blah, blah, blah. Not trying to fix it, just to listen. I think that's important. Or you feel like you got a battle you're fighting, and you feel like it's somebody you can be vulnerable with. I feel like that's very important. So that's a way of being spoiled, because you're going to let your defenses down when you get around someone. So I think that's a way of being spoiled, like just being able to drop all your defenses.
Gotcha. Stokes, what's spoiling to you? How do you like to be catered to and spoiled? Showing appreciation. What is it for you?
I think I'm a bit unorthodox. I have my own money. I can buy my own stuff. for me, acts of service is my big love language. So meet me where I'm at. Love me how I want to be loved, not how your ex has trained you to love me.
Mhm.
So what I mean by that is I don't need, the gifts. I don't necessarily need the I love yous and the man crush, whatever day of the week it is and all the other stuff.
Mhm.
If you see me working on something, if I'm trying to get out of debt, are you sitting down? Are you helping me strategize? If I'm trying to build my retirement, are you sitting down? Are you helping me look up articles to teach me how to do something I don't know because it wasn't taught to me in college? How are you helping me reach that next level that I want to reach in life? So meet me where I'm at. And for me, that's active service.
That's a good one. T, I don't see Crow. I think I know what Crow answer is already anyway. But T,
I mean, y'all lying. It is what it is. We want random head, random. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Like we don't want the same old, same old. You know what I'm saying? We want that random, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a good way to spoil your man. You know what I'm saying? Support. Like most of the guys, we here we are providers and all that stuff. We do what we supposed to do. So at the end of the day, we don't really need financial or gifts or nothing like that. We just really need to know that you got our back. You know what I'm saying? And make it spicy for us, bust it down when we come in, long day of work. Like cook a little bit. Like have like fix the plate. Little bitty stuff, man. Some women don't even want to fix a plate no more, bro. Like, come on, man. Fix the man plate. Give him some random head. Like, let's just be honest, man. It is what it is. Y'all,
it is.
I don't know what.
But that's why I'm asking y'all. Like, okay, so how do you want to be pleased? How do you want to be spoiled?
I mean, but
Let me
hold on.
By your woman.
Let me finish it up though. I mean, like I said, everything don't have to be sexually, man. It's really about finding out what your man likes, some of his interests, and then bigging them up.
Can I go?
Like I've been in the yard lately. Bro. Like really getting the yard together. Hey, she come out there like, hey, she done learned every type of grass type. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this looks good. I see what you did, all that hard work, like little stuff, bro. Real talk.
Go ahead, Crow.
No, go ahead, Corey.
Let's see that.
I'm gonna give it to Corey first.
I was gonna say one thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's a book called The 5 Love Languages, and it's a real good book. Like I feel like everything that you desire is captured within those 5 points. I know, as far as me, my particular love language is quality time and physical touch. I think T's is more so acts of service based on what he said. But it just, I think everybody's like request or desires is rolled up into that. So everybody's a little different. But Crowley, keep what you said last week off the show, man.
No, it's what he won't.
But no. This what I'm getting to. Let's be real. It's different aspects when it comes to being catered to as a man. We as men, we desire something on each level. Mentally, when we come in from work, we might need that quick moment of woosah, of quietness, or whatever it may be. We might need a hug, depending on what our job is. Figure out what your man's career is and know what he needs. If he up under a lot of stress every day, give him that 5 to 10 minutes of woosah. And that's likewise if he understands you under a stressful job. If you know your man needs a little love because he's out here putting his life on the line every day, get that nigga a big hug when he walk through that door. Show him that type of empathy and of love. So once you get on that level with him, on that level, figure out that next level, whether it's spiritual. Now you got to connect on that level of catering to him. If he's not a big church person, you have to understand that. Try studying the Bible together with him at home, or the Quran, whatever you all's religious background is. But try to find that level of catering to him on that level. Don't force it up on him. Then when you come to the emotional part, if he's not so emotional, that's when y'all might need to seek counseling as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're not emotional, seek counseling as a whole. That way you all can understand how to communicate, like Corey said, understand each other's language of love then, because their communication will be lacking. And then the physical aspect. Me, I'm freaky, I'm wild. I need somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Open to some shit, willing to have fun, role playing, all that type of shit. I like sucking toes. You know what I'm saying? Keep them shit done. Keep them calluses off them shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real. You know? It's so weird. I like that meow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bring a chick home.
I'm just being real though.
I feel you, Crow.
And they gotta understand the levels of their man, and you can't be afraid to have this communication, because that's when you have entanglements. That's when you have situations, because you're not understanding, as we said, that financial level of catering to him. If he's not a big spender, but you a big spender, he's not going to understand why you always spending money all the time and he trying to save. That's a catering point. Like seriously, it's levels on each part catering to your man, and understand that level. And that's the same thing with you ladies. So I'm not leaving y'all out. I know y'all probably like, well, what about us?
This brother's been too. This is bro. Crow, you ain't say the biggest piece.
Oh, and juggle my balls.
Yeah, juggle that man balls.
Rob, what you got?
All right, so as I said, I'm in the military, been in 15 years, so my body is beat up, man. So a good massage does me great. I got bad knees, I got a bad back. My body's like 50, but I'm not even 40 yet. So a good massage works great for me. My feet are how I get paid, so a good pedicure, making sure my feet are taken care of, that works wonders for me. As I said last week, I like to eat. But I got high blood pressure and diabetes in my family, so my wife makes sure I'm not eating whenever she cooks. I'm not eating bad stuff. We also work out together on Wednesdays, and so just that type of attention that's being paid to what I like, because I'm not a needy person. You'll rarely hear me say I need anything, because I feel like if I don't have it, I can eventually get it, or I don't need it. And so I think I have to do better in saying what I need, and I think most men do as well, because a lot of us, we don't say what we want because we're always giving. So we have to do better in verbalizing what we want. And I agree with what everybody else said. Crowley specifically, it is that tiered level thing, is meeting someone at the mental, the spiritual, and the physical. I'm an AB man, so physical is big with me. So I agree with that 100%. But it's just getting to know your man. Like I see women on social media every year asking what they can get their man for Father's Day or for their birthday. If he's your man, you should kind of know already what you need to get him, because it's your man. So you shouldn't be asking strangers what to get your man. You can ask them in the realm of different options in a specific group, but you should know your man well enough to understand what they want, how they are, and what you need to get them. Because that's the same thing we do. We have to understand what you like, what you don't like, so we can surprise you with this thing that you were talking about in January when we get it for you in Christmas time. So it's just paying that attention to your man and making sure that you're attentive to the spoken and unspoken things that they say.
Absolutely. Jay Ward, wrap us up.
So yeah, when we were talking about this topic in the group chat, you know, I was getting a lot of pushback from it. And I think that it's important, even in articulating what we want. It's been kind of difficult, and a lot of people saying, stuff like that, because we don't think about this. And I think that this is, again, the purpose of the show, is for us to talk about things, that are funny, and things that we do know, but things that we don't know, and things that we want to find out more about. And I'm a piggyback off some stuff that people said earlier. I would always say that I'm low maintenance. I used to always say that. And I used to always say, like, sexually, I'm a pleaser. I'm all about pleasing and pleasing and pleasing. That's until somebody took the time to actually please me. And then I looked at it from a totally different perspective. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yes.
Because I'm used to always being the person trying to make sure you get yours, because I don't want to be in that percentage of men who don't give orgasms. So, I was like, whoa, wait, what, hold on, what happened right there?
She
Is
must have
because, I ain't gonna go into no particulars, but no, he said suck me from the back.
sucked him from the back. He ain't never had nothing like that.
Or eating from the back, but we're gonna
and to say that I'm low maintenance, which I really am, but that's all right when the person is putting forth effort, and that's something that a lot of brothers have said, and I want to echo that. It's just about effort and putting in an effort to do something and to let me know that you at least care about how I feel about something and what I'm bringing to the table, and you see that I'm out here hard working. Really big on like what Corey was saying about your love languages. I think it's very important to know your love language and to know the love language of your partner. Y'all can take the test together. Whatever you want to do is really important to know that. Kind of what T was saying. I don't think that sex is enough. And like he was saying about the head, give the head in a different way. Just show that man that he matters, and it's about effort.
When he walked through the door. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's just effort. Like I saw one of the comments that said, hey, I'll pay for you to get a massage, but I'm not gonna do it myself. I think that's that effort, and that's something that blows a man's mind. Is that you're stepping out of your comfort zone to do something for me, because I step out of my comfort zone all the time. I actually believe, and this might be, kind of the opposite of what I present on the show. I actually believe that a man is going against his comfort zone every day by being faithful. That's just my personal opinion. But I've also, spoke about how I feel about, being in open relationships and being in a polyamorous relationship, but we haven't really got on that yet. But I do feel like, I really feel like a man is stepping out of his comfort zone by being faithful every day, by making sure that he's doing what you need. So you should meet him there.
Elizabeth, I'm coming home.
I think it's very important. I think it's very important to be able to not only tell that person, but show that person what they want, what you want. And like Rob was saying, like you've been with a person for however many years and you don't know what to get them for their birthday or for Father's Day. Step out, and men, we have to be willing to receive things also, because I think, and I know I was like this as a gift giver. I'm a bad gift giver because, I grew up poor. I didn't give a lot of gifts. I didn't get a lot of gifts. So I was always like, don't get me nothing because I ain't gonna get you nothing. Or, but you have to be willing to accept a gift so that a person is willing to get you a gift without ridicule. So if that person feels comfortable getting you something, you may or may not like it, but it's just small things. Like, let's say a person pays a lot of attention to their vehicle. You get them something for the vehicle, they like, damn, I didn't even know you paid attention to that. It's just small things like that. And like Crowley was saying, and I really echo a lot of the things that Crowley was saying. It's just like, giving that man his space, that mental break time for them to, decompress the work day and then put on the hat of being in a relationship and being at home. And I was in a situation to where I got a massage. This lady gave me a massage, and I was like, I've never liked people to touch my feet at all. But, she took the time to give me a massage, and I was like, you know what? I can't live without this now. So a lot of things that we like and would like as far as being catered to, you don't even know it yet because we just throw out that I'm low maintenance or I don't require much. And so women a lot of times take, they take advantage of that. Well, he low maintenance, so he don't really require anything. And it's the same thing with men. When a woman says, it's okay, it don't really matter, I don't really need much for my birthday, you need to still go all out. So we need to be able to communicate with each other and just pay attention to the nuanced things that our partners give, those signs and those things that they give us, so that we can chime in and really cater to those things.
Absolutely. Okay. They said new Wi-Fi, new Jay Ward. I still don't know about this.
Hey, Jay Ward with the Wi-Fi, boy. You can't be touched, boy.
Roof in Wi-Fi is coming through.
So, hey, real quick, let me say this too. Shout out to Rob and Fee with the Zumba workouts. I've done them. It's a good workout, man. Y'all need to jump on that. Post a link if y'all can, because it's a really good workout.
Yeah, and I get pedicures too, but not right now because of COVID-19. But it feels amazing. Oh my god!
Jay Ward, why you say it's hard for men to stay faithful though,
I
man?
was about to bring it up. So yeah, Jay Ward, you said that it's hard or tough, or it's not.
I think you're stepping out of your comfort zone to be faithful. I think by nature we're set up to be able to juggle and handle multiple partners, because I think that when a man cheats, a man can cheat with different women and it not really affect them. But when a woman cheats, a lot of times it's more of a tie to that person. So I think that men by nature are wired to have multiple partners. I think women might be wired that way too. Some women aren't. Some people, I just don't think everybody is wired to be monogamous. So
you been hanging around me?
Nah, it's really genetic for real though. It really
it might be genetic, you know.
Y'all stop. We may have to bring this up in another topic. We'll tie that one in too. I don't know about the polymorphs, but that specific area we may have to bring it in for another week. So, any thoughts on this final topic before we wrap it up for the night? Sounds like a no. So, I'm gonna bring in everyone for their final thoughts for tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in again. And two, I'm gonna take you off of mute so we can wrap this thing up and get on out. Final thoughts for the night. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Oh man, we had a good time tonight, bro. This was real good, bro. Hey, y'all boys a trip, man. But as far as like bank account, I think that people should have a separate bank account, and then you do have a joint bank account that you could splurge on, you know, pay the bills, do your traveling thing, and all that. Hyphenated last names, I'm not with it. Jay Ward was up here capping earlier. He alive. Everybody alive. If you trying to have a hyphenated last name, you don't need to get married because you're not ready to accept the full weight of what a marriage entails.
But you don't love me, T.
Take it how you want to. That's what it is. I don't even remember what the what was.
The blowing up and the vandalism.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. You know, stuff happened. I done got sugar in my tank. I done had, you know, a little something. We ain't gonna get into that. Would you marry a woman not your first choice? Yeah, I mean, you know, life happens, bro. Sometimes whatever God got for you gonna be for you. And how do you want to be spoiled? You already know. My love language is physical, so it is what it is. I'm very simple. I ain't tripping.
Bro.
Hey, so joint accounts. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about these finances before we sit down. I'm a frugal type brother. I'm gonna just be real. Very frugal. I like to save money. I like to build shit, and you know what I'm saying, grow stuff. So if she ain't about that, she can keep it moving. Last names. At the end of the day, I do want you to have that Crowley last name. So it's only about 2%. I'll try my best to listen, but you're gonna be a Crowley. I'm sorry. I keep it moving. Women not being the first choice. Hey, I might not be her first choice. Hey, it is what it is. Keep it moving. The Hansay what now burn stuff. Hey, I've been a victim of domestic violence. Yeah, we was laughing about it, but at the end of the day, I truly could have lost my life. I could have went to the next level after they did what they did and hurt them. So even though we kind of laughed about this situation, there's nothing funny about domestic violence, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically. It can cause hurt on all families' end. And I did just serious up on that note because it is serious. Everybody needs to suffer the consequences when they bring harm to another person, whether it's male or female, or bringing harm to the property or to that person. So yeah, I laughed about it. It was past. You can joke about it kind of once it in the past, but domestic violence is very serious. I'm not for it. I'm very against it, whether it's done by a female or a male. Once again, and then to be spoiled. Hey, just get to know me on every level. I need to get to know you on every level, and just know your boy is freaky. So just be open-minded on that level, and hey, we can make some shit happen.
As far as joint accounts, I do believe that couples, once you're married, you should have a joint account. I feel like your money will go longer But I do believe you should have your personal account as well, to handle stuff that you would like to handle. So I just feel like there should be something that should be discussed prior to marriage. As far as a hyphenation of last names, that's a non-negotiable for me. It's either Brown or nothing. Like that's how I feel about it. I don't feel bad for feeling like that. Everyone have their own opinion and to each his own. But over here, it's Brown or nothing. As far as the domestic, well, the burning of property, I feel like nothing you can do justifies destroying somebody's property. Like I don't feel like you thinking clearly when you do that. Like I even know I don't think the man pressed charges, but it was caught on film, so it's like she's
She was
gonna probably have to do some time for that. She was arrested,
That's
so he
art.
pressed charges.
No, that's arson though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she gonna have to do some time for that. So it's like it's gonna be on her record for a while. She's gonna have to spend some money to get out of that. And as far as being spoiled, like I'm not super high maintenance, but I'm not low maintenance either. And like I said, I never ask somebody to do nothing I'm not willing to do for them in return myself. So it's just little small things I like. I'm not overly a complicated man, but I do want to feel appreciated and loved. So that's about it.
That's Rob.
All right, I think the financial piece has been nailed in the coffin. Joint accounts, separate accounts, we hit that already. Name change, never even thought about it being an option, so it's never been an option for me. We will be all Wallaces on this side of the world. Um, for the car burning, this is specifically for the women. Are you against domestic violence or are you not? It's not really a gray area. You either against it or you're not. There is no situationally dependent thing when it comes to domestic violence. So you can't, jump on the bandwagon or, hit somebody in the head when you see somebody getting beat. And then when it's a woman, it's situational, well this, well that. There is no well this, well that. And when you have a son, or if you have a son or a nephew or a brother or an uncle, if somebody did that to them, you'd be ready to ride out. So put yourself in their position and think about how they would feel, how you would feel if something happened to somebody that you love that was a man. Spoiled and catered to, yes. Like I said, I'm not going to say I'm low maintenance, but there are some things that I like that I don't like to do for myself. And I think most men and women are like that as well. Being the first choice or not, I think it really doesn't matter. I hope no one's asking if they're their first choice or not, because you might get your feelings hurt. You might get lied to. I just feel like if both of you are happy and you make each other happy, it really doesn't matter.
So
All right. Well, for me on the finances, it talks about premarital sex, but it doesn't say premarital finances. So we have all these things against our finances, and we won't look at how we can advance each other until we get married. Then we're already starting behind the ball. So I have no problem with premarital finances if we're on the same page. In terms of last name, for me, that's a deal breaker. A house divided amongst itself cannot stand. So if we're talking about coming together as a family, then this family is one unit. We both left our mother and father and clean together as one entity. So I don't want myself or members of my families to have multiple names because that's not the image that I think that we should portray to the world. In terms of the burnt car, it happens all the time. Like Rob mentioned, that we hurt her feelings, she hurts our property. It's not equivalent. It's wrong. If we do something to her, she's worried about herself physically. She can be worried about her safety. We go on a date with somebody. She's already got her girlfriends knowing my car tag and everything about me just for her safety. But my car just got exploded because I was asleep or whatever else when she texted me. I mean, it's wrong for that to happen. In terms of first choice, just because she's your first choice doesn't mean that you're hers, and vice versa. If you think about it, if it was just about first choices, everybody would be married to IG models. I mean, it's got to be more than just what meets your eye. So, and also one thing to consider, it's a reason why Will was at the red table, but Denzel wasn't. Just because a person may look a certain way or may do certain things for you, that may not be who you need in your life. Get you a Pauletta. In terms of being spoiled, know me, not what your boyfriend's trained you to know from them. shoot with me in the gym versus cheer for me after I made the shot. So know what I care about. Know my love language, and for me, that's acts of service. That's all I got.
You know.
Okay. Bank accounts. Separate accounts are fine. Joint accounts, cool. Y'all touched on finances enough for me tonight. Last names. Your last name is going to be Terrell. I don't care nothing about no hyphenation or nothing. If you can't adopt my last name, you can't adopt being with me. Point blank, period. Leave these folks shit alone. Don't touch nobody's stuff. They won't touch yours. Point blank, period. First rule they teach you in school is follow directions first time given. Second one is keep your hands, feet, and other objects to yourself. Leave folks shit alone. Marriage. Marrying your first choice. The goal is to make whatever choice you're going to make your final choice. So whether I'm your first choice, your second choice, third choice, just make sure I'm your last choice at the end of the day. Because if you settle for potential happiness, it'll never be 100%. So don't settle. Go all or nothing. And as far as spoiling your man, my love languages are physical touch and quality time. So as long as you spend a lot of time hitting the head, we're good.
No super.
And juggle those balls.
Go ahead, Jay.
All right, so shout out to Dino. He a 10. You see what the 10s bring to the table. Shout out to Crow sucking toes. Y'all blow his DM up because he's sucking toes. And we also got somebody that'll eat the ass on the panel as well. I ain't gonna say no name.
He eating the groceries, baby.
Eat the groceries. But in all seriousness, to get into all the topics that we talked about in no particular order, with the last name thing, like I said, it's not an issue for me. I don't care. Probably if I showed you, that it was important to me, if you love me, you probably would. If I was that important to you, if it was that important to me, not if I love you, but if it's that important to me, you probably would change the last name, but it's not something that's important to me. But like Rob said, it's never been an issue that I run into. But I know it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me because I don't care. Because hell, in 10 years, I might change my own last name and first name. Like Dino was saying, I might not have been your first choice, but let me show you that I can be your best choice. Let me show you that you. Somebody comment saying yes for eating that.
Boy, y'all on that
That's gonna have to be a topic, man. That's gonna have to be a topic.
No more tequila.
But yeah, I don't think Russell Wilson was Sierra's first choice, but I think that was the best choice, and he proved that he deserved to be there. To hit on the inner nerd in me, let me go at Corey and say only a Sith deals an ultimatum, which is a line from Star Wars. And I think if it's either my way or this way, I can't roll with no situation where it's like that. Where it's like it's either this or this. I can't deal ultimatums. I don't deal ultimatums, man. Only a Sith deals an ultimatum.
Don't negotiate with terrorism, man.
He had to mute the man.
All right, so like I said, I'm cool. I'm cool with joint accounts and separate accounts. Like everybody else saying, don't touch people's stuff. Don't play with people's livelihoods. But also, I think, we got to be cautious on the water that we tread and make sure we're honest from the jump on what we're getting into. And we ain't telling a bunch of lies that lead these women or lead people to believe that it's one way when it's another way. I think that's what leads to people making that heinous mistake. And it is a mistake to violate somebody's property. Don't do it. Don't put your hands on anybody. Keep your hands to yourself. And as far as the spoiling, listen to me verbally and non-verbally. So it may be things that my body or my mannerisms are telling you that my mouth isn't telling you. So pay attention to that. Like if you see me constantly grabbing at my back, or you see that my knees are hurting, or if you see that I'm stressed, you might need to tend to that because my body's telling you non-verbally what it is that I'm looking for. And men, we just need to be able to speak up verbally about what it is that we want. I know we want to be, like my stepdad, man, he was the type of person that he'll be in pain and not say nothing. But that ultimately led to him passing away. So I think we got to be vocal about the things that we need and the things that we want. Like, you don't want to be a lame, like T would say, and always begging and saying, I need this, I need that. but we still need to make sure that we are at least being vocal and say it once, say it twice, and then I ain't gonna dwell on it, but I will make it known what it is that I want.
So to wrap everything up, first I want to thank everyone for chiming in tonight. I want to thank all those who have been with us for these 17 episodes. We really appreciate you. We thank you and we value you because we would not be here and doing this if it wasn't for y'all. I know a lot of women in the comments have asked for a show or a Zoom or something other than what's going on tonight to give their input. I'm not saying that it's not off the table. We are talking about that in the group chat. We are weighing our options for a second show throughout the week to have that women input. And for our viewers that's been with us from day one, we would definitely let you know. And we'll put that notification out there. So if we do have a show where we bring in the women for their input on our topics, we will let you know. And it is not off the table. We are absolutely considering that. And I think it'll be very interesting to get y'all input on these topics. Zay, you will absolutely not be included in this.
Submit your questions. Submit your questions.
Right? Second
Nah, put Zay on. Put Zay on.
Put Zay on. Well, we'll talk about that.
Firecracker be ready to pop.
But second thing, before I get into my final wrap-ups, alpha beta men do not cheat. If you want to get married, find you a man of alpha beta. I'm gonna share the post. I gotta pull it up on my phone right now.
We don't cheat. We eat ass.
We.
Oh shit!
No comment. So, how do you? Like I said, it's been very. I mean, we pretty much all feel the same way. Have your joint account for all your bills, all your necessities. Communicate and talk about this on the forefront, so you know what you're getting yourself into prior to saying "I do," and make sure that you have all those financials worked out before y'all get into a situation you can't work out during marriage. Because, like I said on the show, financials is not the number one cause of divorce. So make sure you have all that worked out prior to you saying "I do" and getting that worked out. What is your opinion on a hyphenated last name? I didn't give my input on this topic, but for me, honestly, I don't care if you hyphenate or you take my last name. It's not gonna change my opinion on you one way or another.
You gonna eat them groceries one way or another.
Me talking crow, you muted. It don't bother me one way or another. If you hyphenate, it's something we'll talk about. You know what our preference is going to be moving forward. As long as my child takes my last name, what you do with your last name as far as hyphenation or taking it all the way through, that does not bother me as long as you have a good reason for it too, because I do plan on marrying someone that is on my level academically, socially, financially, so on and so forth. So that don't bother me at all. Hold on, say what now? I don't think there's anything that justifies doing anything to anyone else's property. Just break up with that person, leave them alone, and move on with your life. I don't care how hard they hurt you or whatever the case may be, just move on with your life, period. Would you marry a woman that's not your first choice? And I agree with the comments. As long as she's your last choice, all the other stuff doesn't matter. As long as y'all happy, y'all communicating, y'all good to go, move on. And how do you want to be spoiled? As long as you buy me a king size Reese's, put that hole in the freezer and bring it to me after I get off of work, we good. We good. And juggle them balls. When I walk through the door, you need to be on the couch bent over because I don't mind eating.
Oh my God.
We still alive. We still alive.
Oh my God.
AB the king eating ass. We might be.
She got to take a shower.
So before we go tonight, I want to reiterate, women, we are not putting you off to the side. Fridays are our time to get out our thoughts and our invent and talk about these topics from a male perspective. We will bring you on at a different time. We don't have any issues with that. We will talk about how we want that to happen. It'll be at a later date. We'll put an announcement on the Facebook page. Please like and share the Facebook page, but we will definitely post it and let y'all know. VJ, what you asked, VJ? Hold on, let me go up to the comments. You speaking from experience. What are you talking about speaking from experience?
Nasty.
Yes.
Being nasty. She being nasty.
Hey, you can't wake up with morning breath and ass breath, man.
Man, listen, man. Swift grandma probably still on here, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Grandma, if you listen, no, I do not. You're not even
Don't eat them feelings,
Oh, Crow. Grandma, I'm sorry. If we talking about eating groceries, yeah, eating. I do groceries.
Groceries.
I do groceries. There we go. There we go. But yeah, if y'all have anything that you want us to discuss, any topics that you want us to discuss, you can add or DM or message me or any other brothers on the show. We'll put it in the group chat and we'll discuss it. And we'll go from there. And like I said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you. Please be safe, stay safe, because COVID-19 is serious and these niggas and women ain't shit.
Man, what?
So do what's best for you. Thank y'all, and please have a great evening.
Be safe. Continue the good fight, my people.